Irish, which that made me very sad. That's a hypocrisy that I hate. I hate hypocrisy, which, I'll be honest, I find myself being hypocritical all the time. You guys are having to deal with buffalo while I'm going on a fucking rant. I'm so sorry. I hate hypocrisy. I find it in myself too. If you guys ever notice me doing anything hypocritical, because I feel like a lot of people tend to have, they become hypocritical and they don't realize it. It's really easy to do things hypocritically, unknowingly, subconsciously. Like the person that preaches about being healthy and then drinks a Dr. Pepper a day, you know? There's things that you don't notice yourself being hypocritical about. So if you guys ever notice me doing something like that, be kind about it, but feel free to point it out in a kind way. If you want to know about someone hypocritical, let's talk about my fucking mother. Or we could talk about pirate software, which is a whole fucking thing. Oh my god, I don't know if any of you guys know what's going on with that. If anyone here, I don't think anyone who's here, and I could be totally wrong, pirate software was who I had. I stopped watching his content after the WoW stuff. I was like, oh, shit. I did it again. I have a bad tendency of getting attached to narcissists, and it does stem, let me save my artwork just in case, oh my god. It does stem from the fact that I grew up with my narcissistic mother, so it kind of, I don't do it intentionally. Narcissists have an easy way of I latch onto them because that is my familiarity with it, and because narcissists tend to have a level of assurity and boldness and not professionalism, but they have this energy of being in charge that comes with the narcissism. They believe they're never wrong, and so I of course latched on to pirate software because I was like, oh my god, he's so knowledgeable, he wants to be helpful and blah blah blah. And then all of the OnlyFans WoW stuff came out, and I went, shit, this man's a narcissist. He refuses to accept fault. He will never be in the wrong. He'll do stuff actively to make his case, to make him look better, and no matter what you say to him, he will make you seem like the bad guy. That's same shit I go through with my mom. I figured out how to circumvent her because I know how to shut her the fuck down now. That is definitely what pirate software is, and then I just went, alright, I'm done. Because the best thing you can do with a narcissist, don't give them any attention. Because negative attention is still attention that they will swing into a positive towards them. Yep, it could have been avoided if you said, my bad, but he doubled down. And not only that, it's gotten even worse. So he had the whole OnlyFans thing where there was a whole World of Warcraft raid. Someone made a mistake. Someone called to run. He ran. Did a bunch of stuff intentionally to make it so he didn't have the proper tools in order to try to help his teammates. And I understand the fear of losing a character that you put so much time, effort, and work into. But think about all the time, effort, and work that those people put into it too. Do you know how selfish you gotta fucking be to at least not try? Yes, I would, first of all, I'm never fucking playing hardcore WoW. Fuck that. Hell no. You couldn't pay me to do that shit. It would stress me out way too much because if I'm putting that much time and effort into something, I will not let it be destroyed by a simple mistake. And my dumbass, especially in WoW, likes to jump off cliffs and go, I can make it, and sometimes die. When people confronted him, and I understand that it's very stressful when you have a bunch of people going, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Everyone was probably at fault in that scenario. However, those people went, yeah, we fucked up. That's all. That is all he needed to do. All he needed to do was self-reflect and go, I made a mistake. And that stuff with pirate software happened. It made me go, it gave me the ick, the hard ick, that little ick in your stomach where you're like, oh, I don't got a good feeling about this guy anymore. And I went back and kind of looked at some of his content and noticed that he has a bad tendency to speak with stuff so assuredly and refuses to take criticism for any falsehoods or possibly wrong information that he conveys. And he does not take any criticism. He will just kick you, mute you, remove you if he doesn't like what you say. And this isn't a part of his narcissism, but there's a whole ass weird thing with this whole furry thing going on, and I was like, But now where we are right now, you know what's a problem? When multiple big YouTubers are like, all right, Pirate Software, get your shit together. When Moist Critical makes a video about you, like a video about what you made falsehoods of, and is like, come on, be better, and tries to get a hold of you, and you still refuse to hear reason, you're the problem, bud. You're the problem. But yeah, oh my god, and the fact that so if anyone doesn't know about Stop Killing Games, it's a current thing that's going on right now. If you do live in the UK or in Europe, go sign this petition, because it is designed to try to make it so that games have an idea for what their end of life will be. I'm not going to explain it very well, and I apologize in advance. I'm very dumb. They want them to have an idea for end of service, end of life things, because there's a lot of games like Diablo games where you have to be connected to the internet, even if it's a single player game, in order to play it, which is redonkadonk, but whatever. But it's designed to make it so that once those games shut down, that the game is still playable, so the very thing that you purchased with your own fucking money is still yours. That's the whole basic idea to it. And it's one of those things that if it gets, and this is just like, it's not the legislation, it is a petition in order to get the legislation moving. So the legality, like the legal words might get more defined later on. But as a similar situation as what happened with Apple involving their lightning charger, the UK was like, nah, you're going to USB-C, and you have to do that in England or UK or whatever. It forced them to change it, and they went, fuck it. Everyone just gets USB-C, I guess, because it's way more work to have two different charging cables for different countries than it is to just swap over. And so this is something that it might not necessarily be working in America now, but down the line, it could help America overall. So if you know anyone that is in the Europe or UK, ask them to sign this petition, because everything that I've heard about it is going to be a net positive for the gamers. You didn't know Moist Critical made a vid until recently and was like, oh, Pirate Software is cooked and well done this way, if not burnt. Of course, I will try to give as much info as I can. I'm not the best at explaining it. I know, I just watched a video. So Jacksepticeye even made a fucking video for it today. He put it on his Spidicy channel because apparently his main channel isn't getting views right now because of a video screwing everything up. Haha, YouTube. But Moist Critical's done a video on it. Jacksepticeye did his video. There's been a couple of other people that have done stuff about it. I think like big people have been talking about this because it is something that is very important for the future of gaming, because I feel like the gaming industry has been going downhill a lot. And I think the best way right now to just get a really quick synopsis about the Pirate Software situation, about the Stop Killing Games movement, is to watch the Moist Critical video on it that came out recently, because it shows clips of what Pirate Software did to negatively impact it, even if Pirate Software is like, nothing I did would impact it. I have deep voice. You have to listen to me. But yeah, that video is very, very good. Pirate Software said so much negative shit and false information towards this movement, and he was at the time the biggest streamer YouTuber that had talked about it. And since his video happened, they stopped getting any sort of traction on their movement, short of one bump in Germany. And he talked so much negative and false information on it, and had the whole, well, my dad worked for Blizzard and I worked for Blizzard, so I know better than everyone. Which, I don't care if you're a fucking game designer, dude. I've watched videos by other people that have made games and actually completed their games, and you know what they said? This is a good idea. This is a good idea. Like, it's not that difficult to look at what they are saying and go, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I need more information. But he refuses. He refuses to get the information, to speak on it clearly, to have an actual, like, reasonable and logical rebuttal. Instead, he's making up falsehoods in order to drive a negative, false narrative against it, in order to, like, I don't even know what the end goal is, other than, I don't know, maybe help, like, shilling for the gaming industry. Got his position out of nepotism. Oh, no, yeah, it's possible. I don't know, maybe. End goal is I'm right, you're wrong. Oh, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with the fact that he has hands in the gaming industry, and this is something that would force the gaming industry to change how they are currently doing things. They don't like change. because it's not going to benefit them. There is a lot of legislation that has happened in the US that the companies did not like. They did everything they could to push against it because that change meant money out of their pockets, a negative thing towards the industry, which makes you go, I mean, that sucks for the company, but it's good for the consumer. If I'm buying something, I better fucking own it, you know? If I buy something, I better fucking own it. That is one thing I hate about owning stuff digitally, and I think I mentioned it in my last stream, is I own every movie that I truly love and enjoy on disc because I do not trust anything digitally downloaded to not disappear one day. Downside to like, because I used to collect VHSs and then I found out that they have a 20-year shelf life, and then they the film starts degrading, which that's kind of sad. I don't know if there's any sort of shelf life on DVDs. I hope to God not. Sounds like this law would completely screw mass developers like EA who would just want to get more money. The biggest thing, though, that I personally see out of it is it might have a negative impact on the company on the forefront. However, in the long run, it should have a positive effect on the company. Because even if, because if games did this naturally, instead of just being lazy and being like, nah, you can't have it, nope, no, nothing. If games went out of their way to have an end-of-life plan, more people would be invested in that game. Just like if a car company gets in trouble, let's say, oh my god, do you guys know there was a brand, I can't remember exactly what the car was, but it was a specific kind of car, and they had, I think it was like the gas tank in the very back end of the vehicle or something like that. But when the vehicle got rear-ended, it would cause the vehicle to explode, which then caused a whole ass, like, lawsuit, legislation, things got changed. It sucks for the company to have to change that stuff. However, later down the line, you know what didn't work, you know how to make it better and safer for your customers. If you do stuff that intentionally makes your customers' lives safer, more reliable, they are more likely to buy that vehicle. One reason why I know it has its own stigma, the Subarus, especially the Outbacks and Crosstreks, that's the lesbian brand, I fucking know it, okay? It's also the Pacific Northwest vehicle because every motherfucker in the Pacific Northwest owns a goddamn Crosstrek or an Outback. I swear to God, they're everywhere here. I bought it because it's known to be reliable, keep its value, not be overly expensive to fix, and be very good in harsh weather conditions. Me, when I get rear-ended and blow up, the peace sign in front of my grave. Fuck you, Matt.